Once thought of as a gimmick, the three-pointer was now an integral part of running a successful offense at the NBA level. However, there were still plenty of perennial all-star talents who weren't using it effectively, at least not yet. Remember when I told you about the struggles that his Airness experienced early in his career from distance? The guy who once shot just 17% from beyond the arc in his first full season in the NBA? Well, that same guy, as all the greats do, experienced an evolution of his game as his career wore on.
Now, one thing we thought about when we drafted Michael, we felt that he could shoot better than other people did.
In the 91-92 season, Jordan made just 27% from beyond the arc. But by the time the finals came around, he'd put together perhaps the most memorable three-point shooting sequence of all time, leading to the Game 1 shrug. Now, one of the most iconic moments in NBA history.
Here's Jordan for three, yes!
4 seasons later, Jordan was up to a whopping 43% from three, while dialing long distance 111 times. The NBA actually moved the three-point line in for 3 seasons, 94-95, 95-96, and 96-97.
There was a period where the line went from 22 in the corners and 23-9 to 22 all the way around. And at that point in time, the league was trying to find a way to score more points. And they felt that shortening the line would help.
In the 90s, a decade chock full of dynamic offenses, the Bulls were not alone.
If you know who you are at a young age, well, I knew I wasn't a high flyer, so I started fading out to the wing. Shaq running the lane, we call that a rim run. Penny Hardaway pushing the break, Scott Skiles pushing the break. The defense shrinks. And once you knock down 1, 2, 3, 4, you get into a good rhythm, then you start doing that 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. Guess what? Oh, you're a three-point shooter.
You got a 50-50 shot to be the hero or the GOAT. And I know how much I put into my training. So now that 50-50 goes up to 65-35, 70-30 because of the hours that were put on shooting jump shots and shooting certain shots to win games.
Don't worry, Reggie, I'm pretty sure all the Knicks fans watching remember all about your clutch shooting from 3. 8 points, 9 seconds, 1 unhappy Spike Lee.
Reggie Miller taunting Spike Lee in 19,000 at Madison Square Garden.
The three-pointer was being used by specialists, by stars, and in the biggest of moments. But the NBA hadn't seen anything yet. Enter Don Nelson.
Nelly was, he was always a forward-thinking guy. His impact on the game from his early days of coaching in Milwaukee and then with Golden State had a great impact on today's game.
Don Nelson's unorthodox and innovative style of offense, known as Nelly Ball, looked to push the pace, utilizing unconventional lineups. Never was this more prevalent than with Golden State and the group affectionately known as Run TMC, using essentially 3 guards who could all shoot from deep, and a forward in Chris Mullin who was a marksman from anywhere on the floor. Points would come in bunches.
Popular analytics of the league are that it's either it's the rim or it's the 3.
And you shoot 32% from three-point line. That's like shooting 50% from the for 2 points. So, I think it's going to become even more important. If you can make shots, there's a place for you.
Certainly, Mike D'Antoni gets a lot of credit. I think Don Nelson as well. I mean, he was almost one of the originators of small ball as well. But Mike D'Antoni and the 7 seconds or less Suns, they definitely started a revolution in the NBA of playing 5 guys, all of similar size, and all being able to shoot. And I think the trend has caught on.
Nelly and D'Antoni had many things in common, and one very important player, Steve Nash. Nash had run a similar style of offense with Dallas, so when D'Antoni's Suns instituted the 7 seconds or less offense, his transition was easy.
When we did it, we went 31-4. That was the only analytic number I knew. Or we won 62 games that year, so I'm thinking, it's not too bad, But then again, it was still out there, well, you can't win the playoffs that way. And then we do get to the conference finals, well, you can't win the championship that way. And, we could never get over the hump totally.
Despite the success with the Suns, the transcendent coach wasn't satisfied with where things were with his offense.
I'm human like anybody else, and I feel better that I totally didn't screw the Phoenix Suns up. And that's what worries me, was I'm on the wrong path. Maybe it'll never work. And that's why I was so happy when Golden State broke through with what they do. And now that the analytics have kind of proven that this is kind of how you need to go. My only regret is I didn't really, I like chickened out a little bit. We could have gone even more. We could have made some trades or got some personnel that really fit this model, and we did not do that, thinking that, maybe we do need a post-up player for that's bigger and stronger and rebound more. I hate for that part that we could have been even better in Phoenix.
D'Antoni has taken his offense and his analytics to Houston and upped the ante big time, as his team has a legitimate shot to take more threes than twos this season. Let's look, for example, at the statistic 3PAR, or three-point attempt rate. This divides three-point attempts by all field goal attempts. So, a 50% clip would tell you a team takes exactly half of its shots from distance. Well, as of right now, the Rockets' percentage of north of 53% is 14 points higher than any non-Rockets lineup in NBA history. Has the league followed their innovative leader? I would say the answer to that is a resounding yes. 17 of the top 23 PAR team totals in history come from either last season or this one.
The game started to change. The philosophy in the game started to change. The importance of the three-point line became more and more.
I think it's been good for the game because teams are finally starting to use it judiciously and effectively. To just come down and jack up threes just to throw them up there, it doesn't make a lot of sense. That's not great basketball.
Do you want to grind in the post and try to get a two, or do you want to flick the wrist and get a three?
People say the three-point shot now has revolutionized the game. And once you go back and educate yourself why that was, then you can see why certain coaches didn't like it in the past. But now in today's game, most coaches love it.
Pace, space, and a barrage of threes. The question, though, remains, will it bring its biggest advocate one elusive championship? When the three-point revolution continues, we raise the stakes, both figuratively and literally. And it's got the NBA's next generation thinking big.